everyone, and welcome to Nimo's Corner Season 2.
Yay! And in today's episode, we'll be talking about the animation student experiences, specifically here in Benilde. And so I'm one of your hosts, Isabella Wotrich.
And I'm Celine Claire Penanueva.
And I'm Sofia Villaruz.
Yay! I'm so glad to be hosting with you guys today because, we're all animation students here in College of Saint Benilde.
Yeah.
I'm a third year. How about you?
Second year.
You?
I'm also a second year.
Oh my gosh, I feel old.
Wag
OMG. Oh, pero sige na lang.
Oh.
But anyways, what inspired you guys to be animation students here in Benilde?
Okay, so I was a transferee, so you have the experience of a transferee student here. And the reason why I transferred from another course, another school to animation was because one day I woke up and I felt like I really, really wanted to do art. And so I did it. I drew after a really long time. This was during the pandemic and I really didn't do my hobbies that much because I was really focused on ACADS and just trying to survive in general in the pandemic.
Yeah.
And so when I started drawing again, it made me feel really fulfilled, really happy, and I really loved it.
Mm-hmm.
And so from there, it just really touched upon my inner childhood. And that's how I got to this. That's when I decided to go animation in Benilde because I don't know. I love animation. I love art.
Yeah.
In general, yeah. So yeah, that's my story.
Honestly, same for me. Animation was more of a childhood dream of mine. Initially, I was Humes for senior high.
Same.
Yeah, you were. Oh my gosh, all three of us were Humes. Kasi Celine is also Humes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, your former what were you gonna try to be? I was gonna take law.
I don't know. Cause in my senior high school, I was supposed to be part of the arts and design track.
Yeah.
But they were I showed up first day of school, and then
Yeah.
when I went in the classroom, there were only 4 of us.
Oh.
So it turns out that not a lot of people signed up for arts
Yeah.
and design, and then the teacher came in and was like, "Oh, there's only 4 of you."
Oh my gosh.
So no, they dissolved the track the same day as the first day of school.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's so sad.
So they were okay, to compensate, you guys can just pick whatever was your second choice for.
So you were gonna take animation regardless
Yeah,
of your strand.
I was supposed to go into arts and design regardless, but it was
You're okay, I'm just gonna take Humes
Yeah.
instead. Me, I shifted from Humes to arts and design in between my senior high year. Kasi initially I wanted to take law, but then I was arts was really I was more inclined in the arts, and then I saw arts and design, even though it was just one classroom, and Humes had 5. STEM had 20 plus classrooms.
Damn.
Yeah, it was crazy, and I was just oh my gosh. But I do want to take my passion instead. I don't care what other people think about arts or how underpowered or whatever. Underappreciated arts and design is. So, look at us now. We're in animation. Diba?
No, because my parents also didn't agree with animation, but because I don't know, it was something I really wanted to do.
Yeah.
That's why I'm in animation now.
Oh, honestly. Wait, before we start, do you guys also have your socials and do you guys do commissions as art students?
Not at the moment.
Not at the moment.
Planning to,
Me too. Honestly, my art account, it's completely empty because I don't have a lot of confidence in my art. What about you?
Same. My account is at Cicirulian on IG, but I don't post anything there.
Oh my gosh, me. Mine is Bellatino, but there's no art. There used to be, but then I think what we all need to do is just be more confident in our art since
Right.
you're both second year na, and I'm gonna be third year, which means I'm gonna graduate soon.
Yeah, and you have your thesis coming up
God. World.
Oh my gosh, I can't imagine being out in the world, especially when you're an animation student. All we think about is portfolio, how to make it good. Like, has any of your profs ever told you, like, parang real life tips after you graduate, and then you're just like, you start to get scared?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
I remember in one of our subjects, like our prof was telling us about the industry here in the Philippines.
Yeah.
And she was like, people would usually outsource here to the Philippines
Yeah.
for really good quality 2D animation especially.
Yeah.
And what made me scared was like, not really scared, but like your salary is based on how much seconds you make, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Like
heard.
it's not how much time you work on it. It's the product. It's
like
what
your
you
final
produce.
product.
Yeah.
So you can't be a procrastinator like me.
Definitely, because like you really have to be. You really have to just do it.
Yeah.
Do as much as you can
Yeah.
without getting burnt out, and like just imagining it is so scary to me.
Oh my gosh. What about you, Soph? What's like the most hard-hitting tip your prof has ever given you?
I think it's like one of the scariest like things to like sort of like kind of have to brace yourself about animation is that like it's probably not the most stable job
Yeah,
to
yeah.
have,
Real.
because like you can be like freelance, or you could be like part of like an in-house studio.
Yeah.
But also just like the fact that like you have to kind of accept the fact that some like most of the time your job's probably not going to be like a permanent
Yeah.
thing, unless
It's
you're
gonna
like
be
contractually
project-based.
like obligated to
Yeah.
like work for like,
That's
your
what
employee for
kind
a
of just
while.
happens when you're like an art student in general, no?
Yeah.
You just have
You
to.
basically have to fight.
Yeah,
in
like
life.
you're not set in one studio immediately. Like, but I think that's also one of the best things about being an animation student, because you can be super flexible when it comes to it. Like, you can be a character designer, game designer,
Yeah.
illustrator, even children's book illustrator. And I think that's like super fun. And like, I think that's what's nice about animation as a course, because it lets us experiment outside of just our comfort zone. Like, have you guys taken what's it called? Experimental animation class?
Yes,
No.
I got.
You
that.
I
haven't?
haven't yet.
Oh, you haven't?
I jumped all the way to stop motion. It was the only thing
Ah,
available.
okay. Yeah, that's also a fun subject, yeah. Pero I remember we had to do like sand animation,
Clay animation.
clay animation. That was super fun.
Oh, for me, for finals, which was partnered, we did also paint on glass, which is really cool.
We didn't get to do that. I did it online.
It's like that one like was it like a Van Gogh movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the one where like they did like the paint and glass animation.
Oh, that's not paint
Yeah.
on glass though. It's like actual paint on the
Oh my gosh,
the
that's so
canvas.
cool.
Nice.
It's because my dear partner has equipment for paint and glass, so we did that for our finals. which is really
Okay,
cool.
okay. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I wish I got to do that. But I think my favorite subject so far, surprisingly, is the 3D classes.
Really?
Like 3D asset. Have you been through 3D yet? Not yet?
I'm taking 3D car. It's not.
Oh,
my
yeah.
favorite.
Oh my gosh, 3D car. It took me, like, example, when you're in 3D, honestly, you cannot procrastinate. Because when I started doing my 3D, like, after class, diba, we only have 4 hours.
Yeah.
So the entire 4 hours, I would just do my work, my one plate that we were set on that day, which is next week pa yung deadline. But I'd stay, like, for at least 7 hours in my
7
classroom
hours.
just to, like, get it done. And it's not even halfway done. And I have to
Not
continue the
fun.
rest on my laptop, my
You find
poor
it
MacBook.
fun, and you find it fun.
I find it fulfilling.
Oh.
More than fun. Like, yes, for me, I get a bit drained, I get a bit burnt out. But like, end of the day, once you get that animation, you get that thing that you work so hard for, you're fulfilled, you have something to add in your portfolio. It's like a really nice feeling, and then you show it to your parents, like, Mom, Dad, I made this.
Look, it's moving.
Yeah, and they're like, wow, you can work at Pixar now. And I'm like, okay, sure.
That was me in Principles of Animation. When I finally got things to move, I was like, oh my god, look at it, it's moving.
Oh my gosh, it's so satisfying. But you've taken 2D principle, Diba?
Yeah,
Anim-
principles of
Animprint.
animation, animprint.
Yeah.
I've taken Animprint. I actually haven't seen on that.
It's okay. Like, I understand because it's
The
such
life
a...
of an animation student.
Oh my
I-
gosh.
Multiple INCs.
INCs, God.
I only had one INC, and it was from like my first term. It was
First term.
Anitro. But I took it again and then I passed, so
Yay.
it's okay. Sige na lang. Pero yeah, being an animation student, a lot of us have incompletes, no? What do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think leads to that though?
I think it's like in my case, it's probably just like the way I work because I am very slow. I get overwhelmed very easily, so my work process is like I tend to like either hyperfixate on one thing or just try to do everything all at once.
Yeah, I get it.
And, it also like depends on like the amount of like work that needs to be done for like a certain project.
Yeah.
And yeah, it also like really depends on your focus as well.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
I feel like animation as a course is just really demanding
Mhm.
because like it requires you to do so many things and you have to have knowledge in so many things too. Like in design, you have to know architecture, or
Yeah.
maybe you also need to know about a bit of fashion design, and you need to know different body types
Mhm.
and even animals or monster body types.
Yeah.
And you also need to, that's just on the design part, which is pre-prod, and then the prod itself, which is like animating.
Yeah.
It takes up so much time.
Yeah.
It's just really demanding in general. And then post-prod, which is like editing and stuff, there's just so many things to consider.
Mhm.
So because of it, it's really demanding, which results into that many INCs. But at the same time, I feel like it's really a necessity because like it prepares you for the real world, because like what I
Yeah.
mentioned earlier, the way it's project based,
Mhm.
what you earn is based on how much things that you do.
Mhm.
So because of it, starting from right now as a student, it really
Mhm.
would demand everything out of you.
Yeah, and like if you guys aren't familiar, in animation, our thesis is solo. And
You have to do everything.
everything, like we start from second year first term with our thesis process, and then like every term after, we basically have to follow a flowchart where we have to do step by step in a production of an animated short film. Like let's say first term second year,
Yeah.
that's when we start with our research, which is solo, and then we have to make a story out of it for our thesis, and then so on. Like example, next term our class would be and story, where we have to pick up a story, then so on to prod, animating, storyboarding, everything, all by ourselves. Pero sige na lang, end of the day, fulfilling, right?
Yeah. Because it's your own story.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
are you doing, how's your thesis, by the way?
Not doing too good.
It's okay.
My thesis underwent like a metamorphosis
Uh-huh.
right in the middle of
Yeah.
writing it, because like I'm not taking thesis this term because I wanted to focus on my majors because
Mhm.
I can get that out of the way.
Yeah.
But the last thesis sub that I took was like on story.
Yeah.
And then like one thing led to another, and by the end of the term it just turned into a completely different story than the initial one I like started with.
Yeah.
Mostly like I don't know if this is also like an experience you guys had when it came to like writing or like making like your story for your thesis, but like mine just sort of like reflected a lot of like the thoughts and interests that I had like at the time.
Yeah.
Because like when I started doing like on story in like the beginning of the term, I didn't think too much about it, and then like I watched a few movies and like I did some thinking, and then at the end it just sort of turned into like a completely different product than like
Yeah.
what I started with.
Yeah.
But
Crazy.
yeah, does that happen to you guys where like your thesis just sort of like
Just
kind
like
of doesn't align with like what you initially had like thought of, or like what your ideas or like what values or sort of lessons you wanted to impart?
yeah, for me personally, my thesis, it was and for our thesis, in my thesis, it was supposed to be about sex education, but because of that, I was supposed to make it how teenagers subscribe to sex education. But then one thing led to another, and then parang my profs didn't have like the same level of ideas going on, and I kind of relied too much on them. I decided last minute, forget everything, just do it my own way, take my professor's notes into account. Yeah, and then just like push through, because from what I learned from Sir Tito, don't be too much of a perfectionist when it comes to art, especially being an animation student, because you won't have enough time. Just do what you can and do it before the deadline. Honestly.
That's so real of Sir Tito to say.
Yeah, kasi productivity, for me, I can't really take it because I'm a very active person. Like, I have to move, I have to gym. And like being an animation student means like you're asking for scoliosis or something. Pero yun, so, might as well just take it as you will and just graduate on time. Or at least as quick as you can.
Yeah, and that's like a tip that a lot of animation profs would tell you, is to don't be a perfectionist. Because like if you're a perfectionist, then you're really not gonna accomplish anything.
Yeah.
You just have to do what you can when you can, and it doesn't have to be perfect as long as you submit something.
Yeah.
Because like deadlines are one of the most important things as an animation student and professional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. If I just literally take that into account now with my thesis, I keep procrastinating. Pero sige na lang. So, what other skills or like tips would you want other animation students to follow? Like what you personally learned in your journey so far as an animation student?
Oh, okay. I can
Parang Miss Universe.
I can say something about this. Quantity over quality.
Mm-hmm.
Because like as I've said earlier, and a lot of professors will tell you, do not be a perfectionist. So because you shouldn't be a perfectionist, then what you should focus on is the quantity of how much stuff that you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like the quantity of practice rather than the quality of practice. Because the more you practice, the better you will be, rather than having really good practice. This is just like once a week? Yeah. So quantity over quality, guys.
Oh my gosh, that literally reminds me of life draw class. Oh
Yeah,
my
I have that in
gosh.
mind right now.
If you guys don't know life draw, we have to basically draw from life. We have a model in the middle of our classroom, and then we just keep sketching them over and over again. Then slowly we get into an assignment, which is our finals, which is 1,000 poses with clothes.
No, it's 500. And then the 1,000.
Wasn't ours was 1,000 sa finals.
Yeah, same.
Oh my
Like,
god.
We were classmates.
Never mind.
Because
bad.
mine was also like the 1K, whereas
Yeah.
our midterms was like 500.
Yeah, midterms was 500, naked. Then finals was clothed 1,000. Oh my gosh, my hand was like dying that time.
Oh.
Yeah,
See how I forgot? I was traumatized.
The brain rot after. It's okay, I get it though. Because after, like, I think I went into like a slight coma. Because I was like, I'm not gonna draw anymore.
Real.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of animation students go through that phase.
That was also like the subject that was like really hard on like my wrist when I got carpal tunnel.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. You had carpal tunnel from it?
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't think it was the direct cause, but it definitely made it worse.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I still have it like until now.
Uh-huh.
I'm just sort of coping with it. But
Yeah.
yeah, it definitely also like made it really harder to draw.
Uh-huh.
Because like my wrist like cramps up like a lot
Mhm.
faster than like how I used to like draw before.
Yeah.
So yeah, you guys also know anyone who has like carpal tunnel and is like an artist?
As far as I know, I haven't gone through it. At most, my hand just shakes after.
God.
Like, out of tiredness, like I would go the entire night and the entire day, like more than 24 hours, just drawing and drawing. Kasi, like I said, I procrastinate. Don't do it, guys. Don't be like me. Sorry, don't be like me. Sorry, Spider-Man.
Deadpool.
Ay, Deadpool pala. Sorry, I'm a fake fan. Joke lang. Anyway, so, what mindset do you think animation students should get when entering the program? Like incoming fresh, ID 124.
Incoming frost.
Don't be too hard on yourself.
Yeah, don't take critique personally.
Yeah.
Because like you're here to improve. You're not here to like show everyone your art. Wait, I mean, no, that's wrong. But like,
Well, you're technically paying to show your art. So,
yeah.
the tuition, guys. The tuition. Sige na lang. You get what you pay
I love
for.
Benilde.
But like, yeah, I get what you mean. Kasi like, with our profs, some of them are very industry standard people. They will expect industry standard work. And if you will not give that to them, you have to redo it. Or like, but that's what you pay for. You pay to learn. You pay to improve. You come to Benildean as an animation student because you have that specific goal in mind. And I think that's what's really important in the end of the day. So, let's go, guys. Survive as animation students. What is something that you'd wish you knew before getting into this course?
The 1,500.
No!
Like, a warning, please. I just went into it. It was just unannounced, but yeah, I just went into it. It was so whoa.
Oh my gosh.
It was crazy when I realized how many I had to do pala.
Yeah. You just have to prepare yourself, basically. How about you? What was something you wish you knew before you going into Benilde?
How much sleep I was gonna lose.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So true.
Because I went into this course like expecting like, yeah, I'm gonna learn how to do animation, I'm gonna do all this, and then I neglected like other stuff. Like I have a life outside of like school, and that like becoming an adult, you're gonna have to learn how to like live on your own if you do, and then like take on more responsibilities. So like one of the first things is like like your own like personal care and like hygiene and like how much you eat and your overall health, basically. Like I kind of wish like I had like been taught to like sort of expect like you're gonna have to like learn how to balance like that, and also like doing your best at like at your studies as well, because like I missed out on a lot of like food, I missed out on a lot of sleep, and yeah,
It's not a good thing.
Yeah.
your
No.
mental health as well, you have to like take into consideration too.
Yeah, I agree. Oh my gosh. I feel like that's what a lot of us animation students forget. It's just to take care of ourselves, like
Yeah.
our health, especially for sitting down and like drawing over and over again in front of a
Yeah, like stand up every
Scream.
once in a while.
yeah, stand up, move around.
And take breaks. Don't get carpal tunnel.
Yeah,
Don't
don't
be like me.
Yeah, pero you can do like those little massages that we learned in PE, like after. I
Yeah,
think.
that one.
And then you have to like move your wrist, do some warm ups. Me personally, like I try to go to the gym as often as I can. So like, example, before midterms, I go full on in the gym, so at least my body won't hurt or feels like super stiff when I start working, because I can't handle it, man. That's why I think I might go for like work from home setting after I graduate, because I don't think I see myself in like a studio. How about you? Do you think you see yourselves in like a studio or like parang studio work?
That honestly really depends on like the studio, like how far it would be and how difficult I guess it would be to commute. Like
Yeah.
you also have to take into consideration like transportation as well, obviously. But that is like that just really depends, like for me.
Yeah, but you're not planning to work out of the country after you graduate or like
God,
take
no.
masters? No.
I mean, like, it's funny because, like, in my experience, like, I met, like, a lot of people here who are either planning to, like, move out of the country or just, like, work at a studio that's, like, not here within the Philippines. But that idea of like moving out and like living in like another like country is just like super duper intimidating.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
get
I
it.
didn't do that at
Yeah.
all.
It's intimidating. I don't know if I'm even gonna take masters, because like I think what I'm just gonna do after I graduate is try to increase my portfolio, so at least I can get better outsourced work. Because I feel like my portfolio isn't complete. I feel like there's so much improvements that are needed, and I think every animation student has to keep that in mind throughout their 4 years.
It's 3 years.
3 years with the additional term taking the course, kasi end of the day it's like basically building yourself up, making a name for yourself, because that's what every job is, not just animation. It's how you connect with people, it's how you use those connections to build yourself into a better person and a better artist too. Yeah, and like I feel like a lot of us also have this kind of what do you call it? We go insane because we don't know how to separate, our art, like our personal art, which makes us, feel better. Like it's your outlet for stress, right? Art.
Yeah.
But right now, I feel like that's also something that's stressing us out, making art for our course.
Yeah, like the difference between personal art and art that you do for academics is honestly, it's a really blurred line in between.
Yeah.
So it just, I don't know, sometimes art can be a source of stress too because of it all. Because like, even though it's like, I remember this thing from Blue Period.
Yeah.
Like, even if it's something that you want to do, doesn't mean it's always gonna be fun.
Mm-hmm.
So like, that's something to remember also when you're in animation, because I don't know, everyone who comes here because it's fun, because they love art, but it's not always gonna be easy. It's actually going to be hard most of the time.
Yeah. I can't even.
Yeah, me personally, I feel like that just sort of depends on like the person as well, but I think like you should just like have other hobbies outside of art as well.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's
something
important.
else that's like another outlet for you that isn't like art related, just so that you can like,
Get off the
recharge
screen.
and like, do something that's like not art related.
Yeah,
so that,
best if it's something like physical, no?
yeah.
Like even just
God.
walk in the park, walking your
Yeah.
dogs.
Like, or just like a different, it doesn't have to necessarily be like a different hobby that I got, but just,
yeah.
like another like art.
Like even
like,
small
discipline.
things like knitting or
like knitting,
Yeah,
painting.
crocheting.
yeah, crocheting. I tried getting into that. I wasn't
music
good.
as well.
Music, yeah, like singing, dancing, making TikToks. Although you're still on your screen for that, so whatever makes you happy, whatever makes you go outside your comfort zone and makes you feel like you improved as a person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel
think
like-
that should also be like advice for like art students as well. Like, go out your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Because like you're gonna have to like meet a lot of people, do networking. You're gonna have to like learn like so many different like forms of animation and like learn how to be flexible. Like, go out of your comfort zone.
Yeah,
And,
honestly.
like, it's something that like it's just kind of like a tough pill to swallow, especially as like an introvert, that like you're gonna have to like learn how to like actually like build your social skills and like talk to people and like sometimes maybe you're going to have to like learn how to like suck up.
Suck it up, suck
Yeah.
it up. I agree. What made me realize about the whole making connections and like building yourself in networking was when Animotion, and if you guys don't know, all three of us are officers here in Animotion. I'm vice president internals.
Logistics head.
Copywriter head.
Yep, and then actually during our first term, we all volunteered for Icon Manila. And Icon Manila is basically more of like an international private convention where like, what was it again? Where we met like artists such as TB Choi, the character designer, the famous one. She's such a pretty girl. She's so pretty. She's so nice. I know. Oh my gosh, it was such a wonderful time trying to meet her and like helping them out, diba? And then we also met, who are the other people there again?
Bobby Pontillas.
Yeah, many fantastic
And
artists.
Sir Zach Retz.
They worked at like Disney, Star Wars, Marvel. They showcased us everything. And with that, when I was in that specific situation where we were doing ushering, I used that moment as my way to make my networking. And I got to talk to these two people that, were CEOs of the animation studio in Baguio that made Rick and Morty.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, and then like with that, of course, you have to be. I think another thing from animation students is also need to learn how to be more charismatic when we meet other people when it comes to making connections. So with that, I took advantage of it, got their calling card,
Yeah.
hoping for the best in the future.
Hey.
So yeah. And with that being said, let's just go on a quick break right now, guys, since and we'll be right back here in Nimo's Corner Season 2.
See you.
We'll be right back after these messages. Hello everyone, and now we are back here in Nimo's Corner Season 2. Yay! What a break time. So anyways, guys, let's start off with talking about Animotion, the organization we are in. Yay! Like we mentioned, guys, we are all officers in this organization. So what made you guys want to be officers for Animotion?
I was kidnapped.
Oh.
We were all kidnapped.
What makes you say that?
Okay, but disclaimer, I didn't join, like it wasn't against my will, okay. But mostly mostly because it was actually Jamie, our marketing head, who got me into Animotion, because initially I had no plans of like joining an org like as an officer, but I was like considering just as like a regular member but then like Jamie was like, oh, like we have like a position, like I have like a new position that's like kind of open right now, and like you're one of the first like people we thought of to tap, and I was like, why not?
Yeah.
And it's not really, in truth, it's not like a super demanding position. It's pretty chill, but like it does like have like its responsibilities as well. But yeah, I've learned to like sort of appreciate like the position and experiences that that came with it. Because like copywriting was not something that like I thought that I would have to be in charge of one day, and then like I just sort of had to like learn along the way, and I learned a lot just like regarding like writing like for advertisements and just sort of like how like just the kind of like work that you do as a copywriter like kind of made me like learn that it was actually a thing. I did not know that copywriting was a thing until I became like a copywriter, and it made me appreciate a lot more like the work behind it and like the people who do work like in copywriting as well.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. What about you, Celine?
Oh, so like at first when I was introduced to the position, it was during the collaboration with the LSU, the chalk art.
Yeah. Oh, I was there.
Yeah, you were there.
Yeah.
When was that?
Last year.
Sometime last year.
Yeah.
And then bigla lang lumapit sa akin yung isang officer, sabi niya, ikaw na yung next ha. And I'm like, what? Okay. And then after that, the BAF happened, Benilde Animation Festival, which is basically the highlight of Benilde animation
Yes.
program because you can see there's a lot of talks by the professors and you can also see
The thesis
The
film.
thesis films.
Yeah, and then like there's an awarding pa.
there's an award.
Oh my gosh, I'm so
Basically,
excited.
it's really this huge event for the animation program here in Benilde. But basically, because I was in Animotion at the time, I helped out as an organizer, and then like I felt like it was really fun to do that.
Mhm.
And then since I was already offered the position, I was like, you know what, why not? So yeah, that's how I got to be. Actually, at first I thought I was gonna be volunteer head, but then like it became logistics head, and now, same with Soap. I really didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
What's going on, because like it would have been the first time Animotion would have had a logistics head. So I'm the first generation, guys. Basically,
Yes,
taking on
sir.
the-
Hey, we all
The
girl
new
bossing
gen.
right now. We all girl bossing.
Yeah, girl boss. We girl bossed our way
Mhm.
through our position.
Yeah, and I'm also like, I think that it's super important to join organizations, especially if it piques your general interest or specific interest, because especially as an officer, I'm internals, and based on what you guys said, it takes you, or like it grows your skills outside of animation. It helps you with your soft skills. Like for you, those skills in copywriting can be used for marketing or for like any other organizations. It can even be paid in some cases, and so is logistics.
Yeah.
And me being internals, that means I have to be HR. So that's something I also have to super practice being an officer. So even if I think being an officer for an organization, and even specifically Animotion, it can be a bit draining, of course. It can be tiring, but
That's true.
as long as you have proper time management with that, and of course ACADS first, it will also be super fulfilling. It will also be it helps in your portfolio, your CV.
Yeah, definitely.
I love adding stuff to my CV.
And it's full with all your positions and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
and the projects you
satisfying.
work
Yeah,
for.
the projects and like the external events.
Yeah.
About Manila and like animation festivals as well. If you're like a part of like the team organizing those, I haven't been part of one yet, but yeah, we've done events that are kind of like related to that.
Yeah, and speaking of events, Animotion also has future events coming. And specifically the one I'm super excited for, aside from the People Power film, because they're also making that, as of right now in the recording, it's in production. And upcoming is the 24-hour film challenge thing, right?
Yes.
I'm so excited for that one.
Yes, basically we're going to have like a 24-hour lockdown.
Yeah.
wherein students, both beginner and not and advanced, can challenge themselves to create a short film under 48 hours.
Yeah. Do you think it's possible? I think it's possible.
Yeah, I think it's possible because like it's a big thing already in big animation schools across the globe. So why not here in Benilde?
Yeah, for the first time, a 24-hour film challenge. That's super exciting. And I wonder what the heck we're going to make out of that. Like, it's going to be like some weird experimental.
I'm super excited for that actually, because like I'm just thinking about like, what kind of ideas are people like gonna
Are we going to work with?
people gonna like come up with? Like what's the kind of like stories that they're gonna have to think of like on the fly?
Yeah, especially I think we all work well in,
under
pressure.
pressure.
And I feel like we're going to make something
Pressure.
crazy out of it, diba?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That'd be fun.
That means y'all should join, okay?
Yes.
Make sure to join, and make sure to join our future Animotion events because it's super exciting. You'll meet lots of wonderful people with the same interests as
Yeah,
you
this
guys.
is about connections
Mm.
and developing your skills.
Friendship. We're like a
Yay.
brotherhood. Joke lang. And aside from that, we also have other events such as the nude life drawing.
Nude life drawing.
Diba?
Yes.
Are you gonna be joining that? Like, will you be drawing as well?
That depends actually.
I'm so excited. I'm so stoked.
Yeah. Also cosplay life drawing
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. We had
A lot of life
cosplay.
drawing.
Yeah, we had cosplay live drawing last term. It was super fun. We had a lot of
Yeah.
participants. And then we had Sir Pat, our life drawing professor, help around
Draw
with.
master, actually.
So now we're going to upgrade and go for nude life drawing for this
Yeah,
upcoming.
first time Benilde has
Destigmatize nude life drawing.
Yes,
Yeah.
finally we can finally push through with that because
Yes.
I think
No more judgment.
no judgment. In Benilde, we do not judge. We embrace uniqueness, and even if
Benilde
it's
like no other, guys.
yes, sir. Can we get sponsored for this? Joke. But like, yeah. Anyways, I want to move the segment into misconceptions about animation students or animation as a course.
And the industry too.
So I'll be bringing up misconceptions that I found online, and then you guys give me your thoughts,
Okay.
basically, about it. So misconception number 1: AI will replace animation. What is your thoughts, guys?
I don't think. I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Cause like from like the stuff that I've seen and like what some veteran animators have like said their piece on it. I think personally, I think people are kind of like blowing it out of proportion, like the whole panic that like AI will replace like animators. Like I don't think like they can. I don't think they ever will. I think we should just sort of approach AI with the idea that it's just a new tool to like help us like streamline the animation process and like maybe like help us like work faster in regards to
Like prompts.
and prompts or like when in like use in production as well. Like there was one take about it that I forgot where it was from, but there was one way of like using AI to help like in pre-production stage where you're like ideating. Like people can use prompts and AI generators to like help with conceptualizing like designs. Like you can input like a bunch of keywords, like what your aesthetic or what kind of like shot you want it to look like, so it can help the people visualize like what idea or like what design that they want to do. And I thought that was really cool because like now you can like now people have like an avenue to look for more specific references for like your projects. And yeah, that's a really interesting way of like looking at AI.
Yeah. That's an interesting way. Like I think it's nice that you see it in a more like positive sense, like in how it helps us rather than it overpowering us.
Yeah.
A
Like,
bunch of robots.
we're not living in the Terminator age. Yeah.
I hope not. People are starting to use AI as like a way to get a boyfriend or something.
No.
Right?
What's
No, kasi, diba, there's like those chat AIs. Like where you talk to your favorite cartoon character. Like if I want to talk to Appa and like, have a little cute time, I can just go to those AI chatbot, whatever.
Yeah.
That's what I heard about.
Oh, the character AI.
Yeah.
Character AI is weird.
I won't judge. You do you. You do you.
Like, just like a side tangent. There's just like this weird ad that I saw. I was scrolling through YouTube and it was like an ad for like an AI chat, but the ad pictures, like they had like AI generated furry women.
I don't judge. I don't
but,
judge.
like, there was like a legit characters from like actual like movies.
Oh my
and,
gosh,
like,
but that's
games.
crazy though. Like using AI art from like copyrighted material
And
and
they make them
everything.
hot.
And they make them hot just for the extra oomph. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
You guys know like who the heck was she? It was like the crush. It was like Max's crush from a Goofy movie. That girl.
Roxanne.
no? What about? What about?
She was my kind of awakening as a kid. I'm not gonna lie. It was the redhead characters.
Yeah,
like
I
Ariel. Oh my gosh. Wait. Let's not delve into that because... Joke lang. Anyways, what about you, Celine? What's your thoughts about AI and how it might take our jobs and animation as a
And
whole?
rule the world. Eme.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I feel like for AI, I don't think it would take up our jobs, but it's understandable. The panic is understandable because like a lot of execs are really like business executives of the big animation studios. they've been doing layoffs, right?
Yeah.
Because of AI. But I really don't think it would push through in the far future, because like AI has already been there even before the boom of AI. Like there's this thing called interpolation. If you're aware of it.
3D animation.
I'm not familiar. What's that about?
Okay, so basically it's like using AI software to automatically have frames in between.
Yeah.
Ah.
That's literally how like 3D animation works.
Yeah.
Because like you do like the keyframe.
You just
and then,
move
like,
it here
and
and
then,
there.
It interpolates like from one keyframe to like another.
Yeah, but like there's like some softwares to do that, to 2D animation.
What if I use it for my thesis? Joke.
Because the issue with using it is that it's kind of terrible.
It's not accurate.
Yeah, the frames tend to be smudgy, and they're just inaccurate in general.
Yeah.
So like because of that, I don't think that, and that technology has been here for a while. Like,
Yeah.
it's just that people don't use that for their actual series or movies, because there is intention because like
Every frame has
every
intention.
frame has intention, because it's a work of art. Like the number of frames that you put into it, like whether you're animating by ones, by twos, or whether,
Every frame counts.
yeah, whether you're doing it 30 FPS or like 12 FPS, like there is intention in everything. That's why I don't think AI would rule the world when it comes to animation.
Yeah, but like, I don't think like this is like just coming from like a video I saw about an animator's like frustrations on like AI upscaling, like about like what you said regarding like the techniques that we use in animation and like the amount of frames that we use. I don't think like people who aren't in animation like know about that or appreciate that like enough, like that technique where how we use like the frame exposures and like how many drawings like in an animation there is, and like what kind of like movements we want to achieve to sort of like add to like the storytelling. I don't think people who know about it or who aren't familiar like with it don't appreciate that as much. So like there's this idea that like, because it's kind of like if you guys seen like those videos of like anime openings or like anime fight scenes where like they upscale it to 4K, and like
I've seen
it's
those.
like
It feels
super-
off.
Yeah,
It
that's
feels
the
so
thing.
off.
Like
It feels
people
not
say
grounded.
That, people say that like it looks so good, it's so smooth, but like your AI generating like 60 like frames of something that was originally 24 frames. The in-betweens look
Just not.
they don't look good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's what I was talking about. The in-betweens, they're just so... Ugh.
Yeah,
I always said this to like my sibling whenever we see like a 4K upscale of animation. It looks terrible.
Yeah,
it
it
looks
just
like
looks
they're moving
terrible.
underwater, and like
Yeah, and it's just like-
when you scrub like the video frame by frame, like they look so weird.
It looks
it's whack.
lifeless. For me, I think I have the same sentiments for you guys when it comes to AI and animation. Parang we can use it as a prompt, we can use it as a tool to improve our own skills. But like overall, I don't think it can have the same level of groundedness or like authenticity as an actual animation. Is like when we do 2D hand drawn. Like as you said, everything comes with intention. So it's like you see art, like if it's not drawn by someone, it's like, oh my gosh, that's how I felt about Disney movies. That's what made me want to be an animator, because I saw like Sleeping Beauty, just the classics, how every frame, every movement, they had life to these characters. They bring so much little details, like just twirling your hair, like you know how Ariel bites her lip. It's just little details in animation that makes it animation, makes it look like you're seeing an actor. But like when you replace that with AI, it's like, oh, nobody really made these scenes. Nobody made these movements with specific intentions for that character.
Yeah.
Like, you get what I mean?
Yeah, it needs that human touch for
It's
it
a little
to actually like touch people's hearts.
Yeah.
Boop.
And And also, like, another thing that I wanted to add about like AI is that, like, I think the fear people have of like AI like taking over like our jobs does have like a valid point, because it also, like, you know, the intention of like some people who use AI is kind of like, you know, for nefarious purposes as well, like identity theft or like forging, like, or like forging like stuff. And like even with like animation, like the whole idea that people have of like smoother animation equals to like better animation, that's a lie. Like, just because something looks smooth and like people like drool over it, and like people are saying, oh my god, it's so good, like it's so smooth. And like it's something that I also noticed with like the anime community as well, where like everyone is just fighting over like animation quality. And like knowing like the kind of like workplace in Japan specifically, and like the production pipeline that they have to go through.
Like they're so overworked pa.
Like not a lot of people, I'm not gonna say everyone because that's generalizing, but like there's just some people who don't take into consideration of like the sort of environment and like the sort of work ethic that like some people put into animation, and then they just sort of demand quality.
Oh my gosh, like you saw those photos of like the animators in Japan, they have like the heaviest eye bags.
They look like they've seen stuff.
Oh my gosh. But like like imagine all these employees work so hard and like they give it all before their deadlines, so only to be like tweaked through AI by fans.
It's like another thing, like they work so hard just for people like on Twitter just to complain about like it's not accurate to like the manga panel.
What? Kind of. Guys, people worked hard for this.
And usually people who complain about stuff like that are usually don't even know that much about animation. Like that's my observation.
It's like the thing, like if you know so much about it, like do it yourself.
That's why I don't think animators are replaceable by AI art. Like no matter what, no matter in the far future, I don't think they'll be replaced. Even 3D, you can't just easily AI it. There always has to be someone to move those characters. You can't rush art. If all art was made by robots, I don't think it would just be considered art anymore. It's just like,
like what's the point?
What's the point? It's just object. Okay, you have it.
You can't make something new.
Like I don't feel like what's the point of paying for AI art when, you know, there's no soul that comes with it, right? Or maybe that's just me. Parang,
I get you.
Do you have the same sentiments?
Yeah, there is no soul if it's all just AI. That's why I'm honestly really optimistic about an industry in the arts. Because like the nature of art is that it's human. You know, it's intrinsically human.
Yeah. That's what I love about art. Okay, next misconception. Do you think animation is not a respectable profession? What do you guys think about that misconception?
Honestly, this goes hand in hand with AI art, because people who usually do AI or think AI will be the future, they're the ones who don't respect the profession. Yeah, because like if you think art is replaceable by AI, then that's on them not respecting the industry in general. Because like honestly, all art is respectable, because it's honestly really one of the greatest feats, in my opinion, one of the greatest feats of being a human is to engage with art, to create with it, to respond to it, to engage. Just engagement in art, because like it touches upon the soul. It's like it's a reflection of reality. It's a reflection of how you feel, how and your lived experiences, which is why I think that I think that there just needs to be change. There really needs to be change in the industry and how people
are treated. And then Not gonna lie, I feel like a STEM girly too, because it's a lot of computer stuff, like Toon Boom.
Yeah, I severely underestimated how much like tech savvy you need to be
Yeah,
when it
I
comes
feel-
to like animation.
We should be considered STEM at this point, more than arts and design, because like 3D, Maya. Oh my god.
Like an entire separate like IT course just to like know how to use
Yeah, like
computers.
coding and everything goes hand in hand. They complement each other, which is why I kind of want to take game development sometime in the future. I'm not sure though.
Oh, that sounds fun.
I'm not sure though. I hope.
That's like reminds me of back then during like the Renaissance era. Artists weren't really called artists, they were called craftsmen.
Yeah.
Because like it's a craft, it's a skill that you have to develop through time. Yeah. And rather than the form of expression, it was a skill.
Yeah.
Right.
And like with that, what do you think about like animation in the Philippines? Like with the misconception that animation has no potential future here in the Philippines. Do you think there's potential? I think there's potential.
I think we should just honestly like pretty much the same thing that like all of like our professors here in Benilde have been saying, that we should just like, you know, sort of like, you know how like Japan has anime and like I forgot what the Chinese equivalent was.
Donghua.
Yeah,
Shanime.
China has donghua. Shanime.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I know it's so bad. I don't. I'm sorry.
He's disappointed in you.
Sorry. Continue.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, wait, continue. Sorry. I didn't mean to say that. Please don't cancel me.
Yeah. Yeah, and like America has like America.
The
and
crew are
Canada-
laughing at me.
Amer-
Just keep going.
America and Canada have like, you know, like those cartoons that like we grew up
Canime
like,
and American.
Stop.
Cartoons. Okay, keep going. I'm so sorry.
They have like those cartoons that like we grew up with like on TV as
Yeah.
well. And like when I think of Europe and like Eurasia no, not Eurasia, but like Europe and Russia, I think of like like the experimental like animation. But like in the Philippines, like when I think about like what Filipino animation looks like, there's not like a specific like style or like aesthetic or like even animated films that like come to mind. But so yeah, I really feel like we should start like making our own original animations and like sort of build like our own identity that's like
Yeah.
that like feels like, oh, this is what Filipino animation
Yeah,
is.
I feel like there's a lot of potential with Filipino animators since everyone from other countries like the US tried to recruit from the Philippines. Like, especially Pixar, there's a lot of Pinoys there.
Yeah.
Like, did you know that fun fact about Finding Nemo where like they call him P. Sherman because that means when a Filipino says fisherman, you say Fisherman. Gets?
Yeah, I get
What?
it.
Yeah, that's why the guy's name in Finding Nemo is Fisherman because there's a lot of Pinoys that say Fisherman, diba?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like they have those little Easter eggs here and there when it comes to Filipino culture, and I feel like, you know, over time Filipinos can create their own studios. Some of our profs worked in animated movies.
Yeah.
Si Miss Kai, she worked in E.T.
Iti mapupukaw.
Yeah, that film. It was almost nominated for an Oscar. So close.
Yeah.
Pero that's a good step in the right direction.
Yeah, and there's also Hayop Ka.
Yeah,
An
and
original
Yes.
Filipino.
yeah.
Animated movies.
like sort of like
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like there's so much potential. And I know lots of Benildean animation students worked in those films. Like the Iti, I can't pronounce it. I'm the
Oh my
most
God,
Konya
wait.
person ever.
I forgot we also had Trece.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
Trece.
Trece also.
Yeah, like, my gosh, I feel like seeing the potential if we don't push through it. And that's why I feel like a lot of Filipino animators can go out and like showcase our culture in other mass media, like
Yeah.
not just here, like even in the US. And hopefully we'll level up from the Fisherman thing.
Will be more than just like a reference and like
Easter eggs.
or like outsource work.
Yeah, Filipinos have like a lot of stories to tell. We're multicultural.
Yeah.
So
There's
so
a lot
many
of like
stories
unique
being
experience.
told.
There's a lot of like experiences that are unique to Filipinos, and
Mm-hmm.
like, you know, I kind of like. There's just a part of me that like kind of wishes that we didn't like try to like, you know, follow in the same vein as like the art styles of like anime or like, you know, Western cartoons
Or, like,
just
Disney.
any other, like, yeah, or Disney. Like I kind of wish that like we had like our own thing, like a sort of distinctive style of like animation that just sort of like
Yeah.
feels Filipino, that, you know, like how, you know, like when you look at an anime and you know like, oh, that's anime, or like when you look at like
Ooh.
you look at like an American cartoon and that's like, that's an American cartoon, or even like a Canadian cartoon.
What would you call the Filipino cartoons? Panime. I'm so corny. Generally, what would you call it? Pinoy
know.
animation. Panimation.
Like a Filipino word for animation.
Twins.
I don't know. Maybe we'll just figure it out in the future. Pero yun.
Twins.
Pwede. Ano?
Yeah.
Pinoy tunes?
Philo
Philotunes. It's like Looney Tunes.
It's cute.
It's kind of cute. It's kind of Philotunes. So if we have an animation, we call it Philotune. It's kind of cute. Philotune.
Yeah.
Philitini. I don't know what that I'm sorry. I have a lot of intrusive thoughts when I hear something. So like, yeah. And okay, before we end our episode, let's go to our last segment and just basically wrap it up with how our experiences in animation as students are. Like, overall, like, what's your favorite subjects, least favorite subjects? What do you think changed about your art form the most? What made you guys feel like, I'm so glad that I picked this course. I'm so glad that at least I can make a change. Even if I'm just an animation student.
Yeah. So go first.
Me?
Yeah. You.
My experiences so far, I guess I can start with like subjects, because like that come easiest. Favorite subject, honestly, like a lot of my favorite subjects came from my first year in like Benilde, because like you're in first year, you're learning like basic like fundamentals like in art. Like they teach you drawing, they teach you painting, and like all of that. Honestly, like when you go into animation and it's like your first year, I think that's like my favorite like experience. Like I like the other subjects that I'm taking this school year as well. Like as a second year, you're diving more into animation, but I feel like for me, like being a first year and like the things that I've learned as a first year will always have like a special place in my heart, mainly because like my favorite subjects ever are like Annie-film. Like I love that subject.
I loved
so
Annie
much, 'cause, like, it
film.
was so fun like learning like about film, because like to me I've never really got how like some people can like associate like film with animation, because I always saw it as like, oh, that's like a separate discipline, because like it has like its own like it has like its own like process and like everything, but like there's just so much from film that you can learn and apply to animation, like so many cinematic techniques and like a lot of like storytelling stuff that like you can get like from film and apply it in animation. And it's also like vice versa as well. Like there's so many like references in like animation and like film as well, and you know, it just never like occurred to me like how they could like be considered as like sort of cousins in a way. Like filmmaking and animation, like it helped me learn to like appreciate a lot like the other like disciplines in art, and how they can like, they're inherently like related, and like I don't know, they're inherently related to like one another. Also just like I like learning about the fundamentals Like
Yay.
whenever I get
Yeah.
stuck, I think this advice should like go to like every artist like out there as well. Like when you're stuck, just like go back to the fundamentals. Honestly, like it helps ground me and like remind me like what works, what doesn't, and then it can help me like look at like, oh, if like I'm stuck like drawing something, or if I'm like frustrated at like, oh, why I want to like draw something different, or like why does like my art like look all the same, why does it look flat. I just go back to like what I learned in my first year, and then I remember like, oh, that's why, and then like I can approach it in like a different like angle. So yeah, like being like a first year and like what you learn as a first year is like such a valuable experience. But yeah, least favorite subject, 3D. Honestly,
The trauma.
Oh,
the trauma.
no, like, but like for real, I think it's probably just a me thing, and that like I hate feeling stupid. It's like math, like it's like my experience like with math. It's like it was the most frustrating subject ever. Like aside from Filipino, because Filipino is not my first language, but like learning math in high school was like getting shot in the foot.
And then 3D is like a mix of a whole new art form.
It's like a whole like it's like
and
3D.
math.
It's like 3D unlocked a whole new set of emotions that I never knew I had in me.
3D
And just-
asset.
And like 3D car is like it's like at least for me it was like my introduction to like 3D animation, like actually like being part of like in production of 3D animation. And like I was like first impressions of like the subject, I was like, oh, nervous but like excited to learn something new. Obviously you're gonna have your frustrations like when you learn something new, but like for me 3D was like an entirely like out of body experience in like the worst way possible. Because like I tried to do my work, because like with 3D I tried to do my work within the time we have for the subject, because like I do not want to take this assignment home with me. I do not have the equipment for it, and that's another thing as well. Like you need to have like the equipment like ready for like when you're taking up animation or when you want to like practice it, because like obviously like budgetary reasons, like you can always work like with a pen and paper and just like sort of do 2D traditional, but then you're doing 3D, you need to have a PC that can take whatever Maya will throw at it.
Hi,
Unless
Maya.
like you want to like sort of like hear helicopter noises from like your PC.
My
and
poor
then, like,
MacBook has been suffering because of 3D. Like, I'm so sorry.
But yeah, like 3D is just like such a frustrating subject, and I haven't gotten to the point of learning how to appreciate it yet, but hopefully I'll get
One
there
day.
one day.
Yeah.
One day.
What
But
about
yeah.
you? What about you, Celine?
Oh, like as hard as it was, my most favorite subject was life draw.
Actually, yes.
You had it face to face, right?
No, it was online. That's why I hated it so much at the time.
Oh, I took mine
But,
face to
like-
face.
But like honestly,
Yeah.
like live draw is so good, because like when you're done with live draw, the skill of like doing like sketches or
Yeah,
like,
just quick,
doing
like-
like quick gestures like becomes like ingrained.
Yeah, it becomes
It's
a habit
so fun.
already. And
Yeah.
like when you see all your sketches and then you see what you've done on the first day of life draw, you're like, wow.
Yeah.
You're like, I was there, now I'm here.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
damn, my drawings were like a rat, man. And then now it's like, oh, damn. I'm like satisfied with everything.
Right? And it's so satisfying seeing all of the figures that you've drawn.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
It's so satisfying to watch.
I did that.
And then you showcase your friends like your entire sketchbook. It's like 1,000 poses. They're like, wow.
It's like when you want to show off.
And they're
just
like, I
show-
made that in 2 weeks. I crammed that.
3 days.
Oh my gosh, never again. I'm so glad I'm over that subject.
Yeah, never again, but it was fun while it happened.
Well, it lasted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for me, my favorite subject, I guess, I have to say it was Aniprin, Animation
Oh.
Principles.
Oh my gosh.
Kasi
I love that
it was the hardest for
Beginning of
me.
3D animation.
Yeah, because I before being in animation, I knew nothing. I had like no resource. I had no education. I just draw. Pero with Ani Principles, it teaches you like the basics, just bouncing ball, squash and stretch. just with that one class, I've learned everything I needed to know about that, like animating.
Yeah, there was so much to learn.
Yeah, it's just like it's
crazy.
just 12 principles, but you learn so much
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
them.
Super worth it, and I'm glad I survived that subject. But like, anyways, before we end, do you guys have anything to say to your audience, the audience of Nimo's Corner Season 2?
Practice.
Practice. What about you, Soph? One word.
I don't know how to compact it into one word, so I'll just say it in a sentence.
Okay.
Appreciate animation. It's such an amazing and such a fun discipline in art that I feel like a lot of people can learn a lot of different things from. Because like we have like storytelling, we have like the technical parts of animation, but like it kind of puts into perspective when you realize like how much animation is a part of like, at the very like least, like it's a big part of a lot of like our entertainment, like video games, films, like cartoons, and just how flexible animation as a discipline is, and like how much you can carry a lot of like the knowledge you get from animation to other disciplines in art, like design, even like marketing as well, probably, like film, like as I mentioned before, photography. Yeah, there's a lot like general knowledge you can like apply from animation to other like disciplines in art. So yeah, I think people should just like, appreciate it more.
Appreciate
maybe
it.
not be as hard
Yeah.
on the animators.
Don't hate your
as,
art.
like,
Just don't hate your art. Don't be too hard on yourself, basically.
Be
Yeah.
kind.
Be kind to yourself.
Be kind to your art.
Take
Be
care of
kind to your
yourself.
work. You made it. It's you. Like,
Yours.
it's your skills. And, even if you think it's not worth showing, just show it. Like, honestly, you'll hear just good things. Even if you get criticism, it's okay. It helps you improve. Take note of it.
That's still a good thing.
Yeah, I like
art-
being criticized for my
Yeah.
work.
If your art account is dry, post whatever you want.
Post, even if it's just a little smiley face doodle, just post.
I think like another thing that I've learned, like as well, just to add like just one little bit before we wrap up, like don't compare yourself too hard, like
Yeah.
especially like with what you see on social media.
Yeah.
Like
Especially
sorry.
my
Yeah,
God.
finish that thought.
Okay, like also especially with your peers, don't compare yourself with your peers. You all have your own race to run. Yeah.
Yeah, people are going through different shit. Sorry.
Yeah.
People are going through like their own thing in life, and people have their own pace at what they work at. People have their own unique inspirations and what stories they want to tell and how they see the world and how they express it in their art. So don't beat yourself up if like your art doesn't look like this one specific artist on like Twitter or Instagram that has like so many likes and so many views. Like, you don't need that validation.
Yeah.
I think the most valuable validation that you can get for your art is like the critique that matters, like from people who actually care about like looking at your work.
Exactly. I totally agree with that. So what I got most from that is basically don't compare, actually just be inspired by other
Yeah.
works. That's what will just make you grow
Yeah.
as an artist.
Honestly, as artists as well, I think this applies like just to all artists. We need to learn how to create an environment where it fosters support for one another instead of just like seething jealousy and like
Yeah. Embrace, inspire, and
Anime.
animate! Yay! Animotion! Char. Anyways, thank you guys so much for coming today. And thank you also to our staff who is behind the camera. And thank you guys for watching Nimo's Corner Season 2 with this episode about us animation students in Benilde talking about our lives and our thoughts about animation and the future of it, in fact. So, I had so much fun talking with you guys.
Yeah, I had fun too.
This is a good episode.
Yeah.
Slay.
And thank you all for watching, and see you next time in Nemo's Corner Season 2. Again. Nemo's Corner Season 2. Yay! Bye-bye. Whoop, 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 whoop.